Yo, what's up guys, it's Shitty here, and today we're here with our week 5 battle for the IBL International Battle League. This week we're facing against Caleb and his Kansas City, whatever they're called, Kansas City Nidokings. Make sure to check out his stuff in the description below. He just hit 1K recently, so shout out to him. We're just gonna quickly get into it because I do not have a lot of time right now. So I decided to bring a max HP, max attack, adamant, assault, fast sand slash, a grass CMZ, special Zoroark, I think that was cosmic power, stored power, Clefable, a Spadef, I think like kind of Spadef, but also kind of offensive Shaman, a specially defensive, specially defensive Melodic, and a physically defensive Bronzong, whereas he decided to bring a Skarmory, a Dusknoir, a Jolteon, a Sock, a Skuntank, and a Nidoking. I definitely thought that he would not lead Skarmory, as that was kind of too obvious, and I thought he'd lead Jolteon, so in that case I decided to lead Sandslash. But anyways, let's just get right into this. Luckily, this is a quick battle considering I don't really have a lot of time on my hands. Obviously, I've been kind of crunched for time, which is why my battles have been late. Which I deeply apologize to those in the IBL for my late uploads. But we're gonna try to turn this around. We are kind of going negative here. We're 2-2. We're risking a lot here by going negative. So hopefully, we can come up with a dub. He's just gonna go for the drill peck round 1. I said. Not round 1, turn 1. I thought he'd go for rocks or spikes, so I decided to rapid spin and at least break his sturdy. But he decided to go straight for the drill peck, and obviously he didn't go for it. I believe this turn I just decided to go for the knockoff, just to get some damage off, knock off those leftovers. So I do that, and after that I decided to swap out because I'm taking a little too much damage. I really want this to be my check to what is that one called? To Jolteon. So I do that. He actually predicts it really well and decides to go out into his, or decide to go for his own rocks. Here I just go for the Scald because I know I can do a good amount of damage to this thing with the Scald, and on top of getting the burn, like that makes it to where I'm pretty sure I can just 2 KO this thing with Scald, or at least still out a good amount. So I just decided to go for the Scald, or that's why I went for the Scald. He, I believe, switches out here. Yeah, he swaps out knowing he can't really touch me, and he decided to go into Hawkins' Jolteon, which I thought was pretty interesting. I'm gonna go for the Scald here, and I'm gonna do an okay amount. Obviously, he's pretty invested in HP. I'm not sure why that is. Like, I feel like he definitely could have like sped crap something like a +1 Tyrantrum or something, an Adamant Tyrantrum, just in case. I decided to bring that, but obviously he didn't. He decided to just go for the straight up Volt Switch. He didn't try to over predict or anything. As I go into my Sand Slash, he's gonna go for the HP Ice here, and I knew I could take 2, but just judging by this damage, obviously I can't take 2, and that just proves that he is offensive. He's actually he's modest, max special attack. And I'm not gonna lie, whenever I went for Scald as he swapped this thing in, I thought that he had leftovers, or not leftovers. I thought I had burned him. I didn't see the flame orb do it, so I definitely didn't realize that. So I think if I had realized that, I would have clicked Earthquake rather than knockoff on that play, and this thing would have been dead, and I wouldn't have had to waste my Yachi Berry here with Shaman and take this damage. So I definitely think that was a misplay on my part, not noticing that. But I'm gonna go into my Shaman. I'm gonna risk the Seed Flare miss here because I felt like if I had gone for the Earth Power and he had swapped and predicted that, that would have been amazing. So I decided to risk the Seed Flare miss, and look what it lands for me. He's gonna go into Burt, and this thing is completely scary. I did not think I thought he clicked Poison Jab, expecting my Clefable to come in, especially since that also touches the Shaman that's already out. But rather, he just decided to click Close Combat here, and I'm not gonna lie, I under-prepped for a banded Sock. I didn't think he'd bring Band. If anything, I thought I'd bring like some Salac Berry nonsense or Scarf or something like that. I didn't think he would bring Banded, so that's amazing prep by him to notice how weak that is to my team. Luckily, I just go into my Clefable here. because I now know that he's banded, but now it kind of sucks because now my Bronzong is weakened a great amount. I believe here I decide to go for I think I go for the Psyshock here, which was actually kind of a misplay. I thought he'd go Nidoking, but there's no reason for him to really go Nidoking when he just has a fucking, what is this thing called? He has a Skuntank just kind of sitting there. And I definitely underestimate Skuntank here. I decide to swap out here into, I believe, my Milotic here. And this is also a misplay on my part. Here he decided to go for the Poison Jab, I believe, just straight up, no need to go for anything else. He just goes for the Poison Jab. That's going to do a good amount, and he gets the Poison. And me, I don't even think about the fact that activates my Marvel skill, so I just completely thought that I'd die to another Poison Jab, and realizing that my Milotic has the ability to recover up on a lot of other things, such as that Skarmory, I said to keep that around and go into my Bronzong here as he just goes Poison Jab again. So that was just a bad play on my part, not to think about the Marvel skill, because obviously I could have probably recovered up on that thing, like maybe getting a Scald Burn on it. But he's just going to go for the Crunch here, and he's just going to take out my Bronzong. I'm just going to sack it. I'm going to go into Floro down here, and at this point, this offensive Skuntank is actually going to put in a great amount of work, but it's also kind of due in part to the fact that he does get kind of lucky with some of the poisons he gets here. Obviously, towards the end of the game, it doesn't end up mattering like a lot, but it definitely sucks that he got all the poisoned, and I'll explain why. But I'm going to go into my Zoroark here. This is my Clefable. I go into Zoroark to get some U-turn chip on it, because obviously this thing is max HP AV. So I know physically defensive, a U-turn is going to do an okay amount of damage. I'm going to swap out here, and I believe I go into my Milotic, which is a misplay because obviously I knew that I could take another, what is this called? Not even a play rough. I could take another Poison Jab if I came in cleanly, and I could have recovered up and probably like came back a little bit, or at least got some of my differential back. So it was just a really bad play for me to hard switch in my Milotic. Like, just not thinking about Mario skill earlier in the game is what really like kind of took the game out for me. That's kind of how I lost. I'm gonna go into my Zoroark here, not my Clefable. I believe I just go for the Dark Pulse here, and as you can see here, it's gonna do a good amount of damage, and he's gonna go for the Poison Jab here, and it's gonna do a good amount of damage, and he's gonna get the poison, which is really unfortunate, because with my Zoroark, all I needed was to get a couple flinches. Like, I needed one flinch on this. He had nothing on his team that outsped me, and I was able to OHKO everything back on his team. Nothing on his team could take hits from my Clefable, or not my Clefable, from my Zoroark, except for maybe Vesok. But even then, like, at least I would have gotten some damage back. So yeah. But yeah, after that, I'm just going to go into Clefable. He's going to get a Poison Jab. I'm going to live because I'm max defense, and I'm just going to be able to take the hit, take it out with the Moonblast. But he's just going to go into his Nidoking and just revenge me. So that's a GG to Caleb. I definitely underestimated him as a player. I did not think, realistically, I just didn't think he was as good as he's been playing this season. He's been facing some of the worst, I don't want to call them worst, but coaches that have not been playing their best this season. So I just definitely underestimated Caleb, so that's something I definitely want to stop doing. I do tend to do that a good amount, I'd say, in league format. I definitely overprep for some of his mons, like Mega Altaria. I overprepped for that, and I should have known that there's a good chance he probably wasn't going to bring it, considering my team, considering I had a Bronzong sitting there. But yeah, that's just something I should have done. I should have also thought about Mario skill, so just things like that slipping out of my head was just another thing that really brought me down here. But anyways, GG to him. Make sure to check him out. All his stuff going to be in the description below. Everything like that's going to be in the description below. Week 6 we face against Flame Horizon and his Minnesota Monfernos. Hopefully I can get that battle up soon within the next couple days. I already know I'm very behind. But anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. That hasn't been Shady Mexican. It's just not been the Shady Mexican. Oh my god. This has been Shady. And I'm out. Peace.